All right, welcome to another one from the Outdoor Analyst. I've got a wild one for you today. And well, hey, just in case if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. I would appreciate that. Every single subscribe really does help. I am trying to get this channel to grow, and it really does help. Leave some likes and some comments down below as well as we're going through this, and let me know your experiences, not only just with what we're talking about today, the Work Tough Gear Aries, but also your experience with kind of honestly what I'm going to call cabin tools. This is a special edition where I am out with a tool that I keep in the cabin, essentially. Something that is so important and it is so useful out here specifically for the family that it's worth just leaving out here. So what do I have today? This is the Work Tough Gear Aries. And yeah, as you can tell, it has an incredible Kydex sheath on there. This is an absolute workhorse beast for the family. It is basically what I would like to call a little bit of a hatchet, honestly. It's pretty much a hatchet. So what is this thing? This is the Aries. It is a 9¼ inch blade. It is about 16 inches overall of SK85. And then it was, it is basically 0.283 thick on the spine. What does that mean? It's over 1/4 inch. This thing is an absolute tank. It is 38 ounces heavy. It's actually the same weight as my Mountain Man from Work Tough Gear. And it is absolutely insane. Now, this is the Gen 2, and it is meant to essentially be the replacement for why you can use a knife similarly to a hatchet or an axe. This is kind of like a hatchet design, which is incredible. I'll tag the designer down there below. You can see his logo right there. Super, super cool. This guy is just, is this DB, is it Hemlock, I believe? Just insane. Insane designer. This is the indestructible tool. If you ever saw Joe X's video on this, yes, it is indestructible. He could not bust this thing at all. And it comes down to a nice saber grind, wicked convex edge. Secondary bevel is convex on here, and it is insane. This is pretty much truly an indestructible tool. And it's not only a brute, it is very, very good at small work as well. And you've seen some of my shorts, you've probably seen some other videos of me just beating this thing up. As far as I can actually, it's very well balanced at right here. Apparently the choil version is even a little more choil balanced, but I have no problem doing feather sticks. I have no problem also smashing this into a piece of wood and drawing feather sticks across it. You can use this as a draw knife if you need to. It's absolutely that big. It has tons of space on here. It is very capable as a draw knife. And it is honestly one of the best choppers I've ever used because it's got all 38 ounces, a lot of it just straight up front here. It's super front heavy, but the handle is excellent for one-handed chopping. You can kind of get two in there, but not really. It's really just a one-handed. So this is essentially a hatchet. It performs very much like a hatchet, and you can also baton with it better than a hatchet, in my opinion, because obviously you can span a whole lot more, up to 9 inches in reality on this thing, because it's 9¼ but it's insane. It's absolutely an insane woods tool. I have taken 4 or 5 inch trees, no problem. The owner of this took the test version out and did a 16-inch tree in the middle of winter, I think, with it. And I believe that he had probably no problem with it whatsoever, honestly. My 5-inch tree, nothing, absolutely nothing on this. I've zipped through a bunch ever since owning this, and it earned its spot completely as an absolute cabin necessity. And that's what I think really is super cool about this thing, is that it is perfect. If I don't want to have to swing a hatchet around, and I love hatchets, I can baton with this thing. I can just take it right out to the fire out there, have no issues, just baton some logs with it real quick. And most likely I'm going to take a good swipe at them if nobody's around, just whack them. And they generally get a good split on them, unless it's a huge log. The ergonomics of the handle are so comfortable for not only doing kind of small work, which is a heavy hatchet, so you're not going to do tons of that, but it's very, very comfortable to choke back on. This bird's beak is just absolutely phenomenal. If you really wanted to zip back and do like some crazy chopping like this, you can, but I generally don't. I don't usually use a lanyard, so I'm generally just holding it like this and going to town. Which is wonderful, and you can tell I got nice blisters on there, so I've been going to town lately with a bunch of different tools. This thing is absolutely a monster. Let me get a comparison so you have one to see, because we are in the cabin. I don't have nearly as many of my tools around, but let me get something that will definitely give you some perspective to the size of this thing. Do have a few with me because I'm going to be using a few out here pretty consistently. I do want to show this to the Mountain Man, which is 38 ounces as well, but it is a much, not a much, but a pretty, I think it's 11 and a 3/4 inch blade on there. So it has a longer span for sure. Handle profiles are a little bit different, to be honest with you, but you get more, I think, punch with this because more of the weight is right there. Versus this is really nice. This works more kind of machete-y. You definitely get some extra weight and leverage because of the length. So they do hit incredibly hard. Both of them do. Handle ergonomics are awesome. This does feel a little more wieldy than the Mountain Man, just because it's shorter. Even though it has the same weight, it feels a little more wieldy. This is just a little faster for some reason. I don't know. You can get a little more, obviously just momentum because of the length on there. So handle-wise, you get a longer handle. I think a little maybe more chopping handle setup on the Aries. It is phenomenal. And I know the lighting's not the best in here. Welcome to the cabin. But both really awesome grips. I don't have any issues with that. I'd say the Aries may actually have a slightly more thin grip because it contours a little more in a couple of different ways. But then again, because you can choke up on the Mountain Man, it's really meant for that choke up too. So beautiful knives, no doubt. Absolutely love the Mountain Man. This is the cabin tool though. The Mountain Man is wonderful. It's going to hang around the property, but it's going to be probably in the barn, honestly, instead of in the cabin. So it is what it is. Because I do have this out here, been doing some chop offs and having a blast. This is the Primitive Bear Skunk Ape, just for a comparison. This is 52-100 instead of SK85, and we have about the same blade on there technically. This is about a 9.5 inch blade instead of a 9.25. Technically on there, and maybe it's actually a little bit more. Maybe this is actually like a 10-inch blade. This is much lighter. This is much more wieldy, which is kind of ironic. I never thought the Skunk Ape would feel kind of small, but even compared to the Aries, the Skunk Ape is a much smaller tool. It's a 1/4 inch thick of 52-100, a little bit longer blade, much lighter because it's not nearly as tall, which is just wild to think about, to be honest with you. Saying that just blows my mind because this actually now feels like a wieldy, fast fighting knife in comparison, which is just insane. Just absolutely insane. Which lets you know how choppy this thing is. Like, it hits like an absolute ton of bricks. I think in one of my videos I called it a ballerina tank. It's pretty much that. It is a tank that handles incredibly well. So that is the Aries. It is one of the most ridiculously looking tools out there, without a doubt. It kind of, I feel like, scares people, honestly. When you pull this out, they're like, are you okay? And my question is, you will be okay once you use this thing. That's for darn sure. It does have a 90-degree spine, which I think is wild. Very comfortable jimping if you need to actually use that up there. It's just a brilliant brilliant, indestructible woods tool. And that's where I think it is. If you want to have the argument that a knife can do anything that a hatchet can do, this is the knife that you use to show that comparison. Without a doubt, it is extreme, it is exquisite, and it is wonderful. So if you ever have a chance to check one out, do it. If you ever have a chance to have fun with one, do it. If you need a tool to clear trails, this will absolutely clear them. It does have a lot of weight to it, so keep that in mind. If you like, I really like this just as in the cabin because I can just take it with me or throw it in the UTV and use it as a tool like that. A tool for the pack, it's a little big. It's a little big, honestly. Have I hauled it around? Absolutely. But do I suggest making this like a stationary tool? Yeah, kind of. That's kind of where I'm at with it. So anyway, I hope this was fun. I know different type of review for me. I'm normally not out in the low light of the cabin, but it just hits differently. Like, this is just something that matters, something that stays out here, and something that gets used consistently because of the work, and not just by me, by multiple families. So very, very cool. I love this knife. Oh my gosh, just it is so much fun to use. It just doesn't even make sense. It looks ridiculous, but the more you use it, the more just comfortable and fun that it is in reality. So thanks for hanging with me. Let me know what you think down below, or other options. What's your version of a hatchet / knife? This is the best one I can come up with. The design is insane. It really is indestructible. I'm looking forward to hear what y'all have to say down below. Catch you on the next one.